Dreams. Can they really come true?
I had a I had a dream. And it came true.
Welcome to Bipolar Afterthoughts. I'm Liam Rosick, and I talk about anything related to mental health, really. Now, goals, aspirations, and dreams. Every one of us have them, whether we know what they are currently or we're still searching for them. And, for those of us who have depression, bipolar, PTSD, anxiety, that can make it all the more difficult to obtain these things, to follow these things, believe it is tangible for us to actually succeed. And sometimes we are called lazy or unmotivated. And while the unmotivation part may be true, it is a symptom of an illness that we have. No different than if we had diabetes and we needed our insulin. I was lucky enough to find my passion when I was just 5 years old. But I have a friend who just found a job that they like for the very first time in Canada. I have another person in my life who, same deal, just found a job and they're both 22. Still young, very young, I know, but still, they've had many jobs and they are just now finding the ones that they actually even like. And, they're still figuring themselves out, what they would like to do. And this other person in my life I've got, he is taking classes right now because last year he realized he wanted to go into the medical field. And for the longest time, he had no idea what he wanted to do. So just know that if you do not know what you want to do just yet, that is perfectly fine. And if you do know what you would like to pursue, then, try your best to do so. I took way too long to do mine, in my own opinion. I took a break, a 3-year break. My goal was to be an author. And I took a 3-year break where I didn't read anything, nor did I write anything. Nothing. I did nothing. And that was due to depression and anxiety and all of that kind of stuff. But I finally did do it, I wrote a book, and it is published. Now, I went to a couple different avenues for this, and there were publishing houses interested in my book. And one of them, though, did not like the fact that my main character is a bisexual man who is married to another man. I don't know, maybe they're just, against bisexuals.
Happens to be Bisexual Awareness Week, and no one has acknowledged it!
Or because they took away women's rights, next it's for the LGBT plus community. Anyway, let's not get too political here. It took me 2 months to write. It took me 2 years to do everything that needed to be done. And at the end of it, I chose to self-publish. Why? Because I got to choose my cover. I got to choose the release date, which the release date was something extremely important to me. Because from the age of 5 and on, when I realized my dream, that was all due to my dad. And as I'm recording right now, it is Veterans Day. And he was a veteran. He was in Vietnam. And I would not have found my passion if it weren't for him. At least not nearly as soon as I did. And, I had a friend who kind of called writing not work, but essentially, you have to be your own boss, and that is hard. And while there are millions of books published a year, it was baffling to me when I found out that they concluded in a study that out of everyone who writes a first draft, only 3 to 5% of people actually complete it. I know, crazy, right? And I was one of those 3 to 5%. And I never in a million years would have guessed that, because after my 3-year break, I wrote a short story, took another year break, and then I wrote, I think, 2 short stories, and I was like, I'm going to write at least 10 short stories, and then I'll try to start writing a book. But then it was just like, okay, if you say so, inspiration, it found me, and I could not put the keyboard away. And that feeling was so amazing. And that's another thing, right? We all the time kind of get that feeling on occasion, but it's fleeting. So how do we get that to stay? Unfortunately, I don't have the answers for that. I'm not licensed for anything. All I have is life advice and experience, more than a lot of people my age in terms of experience. I'm not so sure about the advice part. But my main point here is that you definitely can achieve your dreams. You can chase your goals and accomplish your aspirations, whether it takes till you are, 50, or if you do it at 20. The main thing is, don't compare yourself to anyone else. Don't listen to the people who say you are immature and lazy and all these kind of things, because if they don't have bipolar or depression or anxiety or anything along those lines, they are uneducated. And if they are educated because they want to try to understand you, and then they're still saying those things, then what it comes down to is the fact that you don't really know what it's like until you experience it yourself. That goes for situations. It also goes for illnesses. And that is something people seem to have a difficult time comprehending, is that your brain needs to be just as functional as a stab wound that's bleeding. If you're stabbed and you're bleeding, you're gonna focus on that. You're gonna focus on the wound. And is that being lazy if that's what you're doing? No. So if you're depressed and you're taking care of yourself, it's okay. It's okay to have that break. It's okay to not know what you want to do, in my own opinion. And you know what? Screw it. They're assholes if they think any differently after, maybe you've had a couple conversations. It is hard work having to deal with any kind of mental stuff. But, you'll get there. I did, finally. And hopefully will soon again with my second book. But here is my book. This was the original copy, with the original cover. It's called Wolfsbane Butterfly. And here is the finalized copy. Wolfsbane Butterfly. Now, I'm doing a little bit of self-promotion here. So, but it says, we're on the run and he's going to find us. We're on the run and he's going to find me. What would he do to me when he decided to make his move? Why hadn't he already? He must have known where I was. He followed me. I knew if I didn't run, I'd be next. My husband came with me. It was unfair of me to have chosen who might be just another target. I could be that way sometimes, though. Unfair. I should have been more prepared. Just when you think you're in the clear is when things crash down. I should have known. Maybe he wouldn't get us. Maybe he wouldn't get me. I'll just keep running. Can I ever truly escape? I didn't think so. I wanted to be wrong. I was about to find out. Now, does that sound familiar? It's kind of, I mean, it sounds a little bit like depression or mental illness. And at the end of the day, you know, this book is a horror book. A horror psychological with a dash of romance in it. And throughout it, though, the main character deals with addiction, depression, and he is forced to face his biggest traumas. And it's really about what that looks like to face it. And at the end of the day, on the other side of it, what does that look like? That is an overreaching theme in the book from the very beginning. And I think by the end, it's definitely more prominent and it all falls together. But yeah, just keep going. Just keep going. And I might have said this already. If I didn't, then good. If I did, then I'm sorry. But please like and subscribe, because I have a lot more interesting content than this and than what I've posted. I am finally getting into the mood to do this again. I'm about to record another video, which is going to be a completely different mood than this one, unfortunately. But that's just how life is. You have to take your ups and you have to take your downs. So, anyway, this has been a bipolar afterthought, and I hope that you have an amazing day.